So there is at-home devices. I know some people use them and perhaps they have some results from them. One of the big limitations and risks with at-home devices is how effective they are able to be, and the safety of them. Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ellern here at Reflections. I'm a cosmetic physician specializing in laser treatments. And one of the questions I get all the time is about at-home devices. So a lot of people are really curious why come here and do a laser treatment when so many at-home devices exist, and are any of them worthwhile doing? So there is at-home devices. I know some people use them and perhaps they have some results from them. One of the big limitations and risks with at-home devices is how effective they are able to be, and the safety of them. One thing to keep in mind is what we're providing here and the types of lasers that we're providing, and we have numerous lasers over 2 different offices that we use, is these lasers are able to generate much more significant amounts of energy that is much more efficacious at killing off hair follicles than any at-home device would be. The other thing that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about any sort of lasers is what is the safety profile for especially people with skin of color, have more pigment, more melanin in it. When you have more melanin in your skin, you need to be much more careful what treatments you're doing, the settings that you're using, because the risk of hyperpigmentation is much higher when you have more melanin in your skin. So the risk of doing an unsupervised home laser treatment with a device like a Tria is much higher if you're, say, a type 4 skin, which would be more like a Jessica Alba, somebody who tans very easily, maybe somebody of Mediterranean descent. Those people are more at high risk for this. So when we're talking about what we have here in our office, we have a number of different lasers. We primarily use our Nd:YAG 1064 and our Alexandrite laser for hair removal. We also have a light shear device, which is a different sort of laser with a different wavelength. A lot of times used for larger body areas because it's a little more comfortable, but it just depends on what we're seeing on each individual person as we customize our treatments. We actually set all of our laser settings ourselves. As physicians, we have a lot of extensive knowledge about laser use and their safety, and we take safety and efficacy very cautiously and very importantly to get you the best results for the best treatment possible. The hairs have to be dark, so unfortunately at this point in time, if you have blonde hair or very light hair, it is not going to be able to be treated with a laser. At that point, if you really had something you wanted to be removed and it was primarily light, electrolysis would be your only option, but that is not something that a laser is able to do. In terms of the length of time, some of the at-home devices, the big limitations that people have with them is they're very lengthy to do because they're small devices, they have small spot size. They take a long time to get through, so people can spend hours trying to save a little bit of money for possibly a treatment that may not be effective and potentially dangerous. Our treatments, say for like a face, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes at the most. Underarms probably similar, bikini maybe 10 minutes if that, and then like a leg maybe 30 to 45 minutes depending if it's a partial leg or a full leg. We can get through these areas fairly quickly and relatively comfortably. The discomfort level probably varies a little bit from person to person, but in terms of the discomfort to expect, if you've waxed, it's less uncomfortable than that, to give you a reference point. It feels a little bit like a hot prickly sensation. The sensation is quite instantaneous and goes away immediately. We have a cryogen spray that comes out with our Nd:YAG and our Alexandrite, our gentle YAG and our gentle lasers that cool the skin right immediately after the laser hits. So the sensation is very quickly muted and the safety is very much there by cooling the skin very rapidly after the laser pulses. Sun protection becomes a big issue in the summer. We really need people to stay out of the sun while they're doing this. That's not to say that you're not allowed to go outside, but sun protective clothing, sunscreen, hats, things like that. If you're a sun worshiper and you're going to be out on the beach all summer, hair removal is not the time to do it for you, okay? So those are kind of some things that we keep in mind. And if you are looking to get laser hair removal done and you're trying to get it done for the summer, you probably want to try and get a few treatments in ASAP, as it takes several treatments to really see enough of a reduction to have a noticeable difference in a bikini line or an underarm. However, the one nice thing I do happen to notice is when you are treating those areas, a lot of times the ingrown hairs and the issues that come with the razor burn do tend to improve even prior to the hairs being totally gone. As you're shaving less, you're not having to deal with irritating the skin as much, and the hairs tend to get a little bit finer as we go along, especially in those coarser hairs, so the ease of it gets a little bit easier, and you're not aggravating the skin and creating those problems. So if you have some hair that you would like to have removed, I'd highly recommend you go to a specialist who is doing this all the time. I've been personally doing this for over 5 years now at this point, at this location, and even a couple years prior to here. So I have many years of laser hair removal experience, as do my colleagues. We've done every skin tone, every skin type, and like I said, every area of the body that you can think of. So if you have hair you want removed, come see us and we can give you the rundown and answer any questions you have. Or if you want to drop any questions below, we can have one of our patient care coordinators get back to you with some answers. So I hope you have a really great day.